buddy, Jim from Jim's Holiest, Sicolius. Okay, little delay, sorry. Been pretty sick the past 2 weeks. This is probably the worst I've ever had it. But I'm slowly getting back to work, back to into the swing of things. Anyway, promised you I was going to do a review. I'm going to do a review and just a quick setup detail on one of the Aerogardens. I bought this a few years ago. There's so many different sizes and types of Aerogardens, but essentially they all do the same thing. They have the light, this is a grow light, and they have the pods with the little cones that you drop the seeds in. The rest of it is just accessory, larger. They're basically sizes larger. They might have a little different height grow light, a little larger grow light, might have some other small accessories, but essentially they all do the same thing. So they got a built-in grow light, very effective. They adjust up and down. You fill them with water. They give you a specific little bottle of a fertilizer. It's a liquid fertilizer for the Aerogardens. I'm actually out of that, but I have my Miracle Grow starter fertilizer liquid, which is essentially the same thing. I'm just going to use it sparingly. It's just a fertilizer that they give you to add to the water when you do fill this up. We'll show you that. But I'm going to basically start some romaine. Now, you can start anything in these Aerogardens, but this primarily when they came out, they're essentially, they marketed them for vegetables, salads. I think 90% of the commercials showed salads or lettuce or so. You could grow parsley, herbs. These are great if you like herbs. If you're an herb person, this is the item for you, and it's so compact. This is a smaller one. I think you can get them around 90 bucks now. I think I paid 80 bucks for them a few years ago. They range around, for this model. I'll put the link to this model in the video. Some people are asking me, I have product links, and I say description. I don't really mean that. It's actually at the beginning of the video. So when you queue up my videos, you're going to see a little tiny box open up. It'll say shop or product shop. It's usually on the bottom left. It kind of opens up or closes. You just click on that and it'll bring you to whatever product that I add to the video. So anyway, I'll have this model in there, and they sell them everywhere. So you can just shop around or click the link and buy it direct through my link. But I'm gonna sew some of these. I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's really easy. And when you buy these, they give you everything you need to start with really easy directions. They're so simple. And these are the little cones. Now, when you run out of these cones, you can actually get these. I bought these online on Amazon. You can either buy Aerogarden brand or you can buy off brands. I bought the off brands for these because honestly they look the same. They seem like they work the same. Hopefully I won't run into the same thing with the Jiffy Pods I had, the aftermarkets. But anyway, they give you these little cone things. They put in here in water, and we'll get to that. And like I said, you can grow anything. I started this Darth Vader. If you're following along, you remember I started this Darth Vader, which really needs to be repotted, but we'll get to that another time. But I started this just to test the Darth Vader seeds, and I don't need to say anything more. So you can basically grow anything, but they're really good for vegetables, herbs, whatever. I don't know about tomatoes. I guess you could start. You really could start anything, but at some point, some germinations get really, very large quickly. I started zinnias last year, and they got, pretty big, pretty quick here. So I had to take them out and transplant them. But again, essentially for vegetables and so forth. So all right, so let's get into some more detail on these Aerogardens. Okay, here we are. Hey, I apologize having the lamp half of my cutting out half my face, but you're not here to watch my face, are you? You're here to learn about the Aerogarden, so I guess we'll muddle through it. Okay, so real simple. Again, here's they just drop in with the little pods. You put the pods in the little. I'll show you here. You just put the pods in here, and then you drop them in. And again, essentially, they're all the same. That's access thing. They're all the same, just different sizes. They might have a little different accessories. You just basically take that off here, and we got water. I already started it. You fill it up, tells you where to fill the fill line. I don't use ice cold water. I use like not warm water, but room temperature water. I mean, let it get room temperature. It's not going to really shock the seeds right away, but seeds in general react better to warm water or warm. Pretty much everything that's warm. That's like the Jiffy Pods. You know, you use the warm water, and we keep them nice and warm with the heat mats and so forth. So we have relatively room temperature water, and we'll fill this up. And there's a couple of little lights, little warning lights, and a light to help you along, which I'm going to get into. It's real simple. Don't mean, you know, as far as adding water, you can actually see it, but there's a little warning light, and also when to feed it. If you know, you have to add that the fertilizer water that they give, liquid that they give you. A little light comes on to remind you to add some of that water. So we're pretty much full here. You can always add a little with a cup if you need, but it doesn't have to be exact. But we're there's a little filter down there, a little foam filter, almost similar to a fish tank. So if you're a fish tank aficionado, this is probably not too much difference. The only difference is you don't have any live fish here. So here we are. You just fill it up with tap water. Know about using distilled water. I wouldn't recommend it. You can really look that up. But I just used tap water last time. I had no problem with it. So I don't believe distilled water would be a good idea because they do need the minerals. Plants do need the minerals, so I would just use your regular tap water. Okay, again, I don't have any of the solution that they give you, but it does, when you do buy this, it comes with a bottle of solution. It tells you exactly how much to put in here. It's like a tablespoon. I basically did that. I just put maybe a teaspoon of this Quick Start, which is really essentially the same stuff. Mixed with a little water, and I'm just going to add it to the water here, and we'll get to these pods next. Okay, so we're all plugged in here, and it's pretty bright light. Got the top, put the top in. You can actually see the water circulating. And it's going to do this initially when you first turn it on, and then eventually it's going to stop, and it's going to do that. It's going to do it periodically. So every once in a while you might hear it. It's quiet. I mean, if you're not right on it, you're not going to hear it bubbling. So it's whisper quiet. These lights here, add water and plant food. These will blink when it's time to add water, or it'll blink when it's time to add plant food. Or again, you can check up here if you think it's low on water. And eventually you will see a whole bunch of roots growing inside as your plants grow larger and larger. We added our water. We put our fertilizer in. Here's our pods. Just put the pod in, drop them down. These are already in, so I'll just drop them in, so you don't have to really watch me do all this here. Now I'm not going to put the seeds in yet. I'm going to wait until they all get saturated. It's going to take a little while, sort of like the Jiffy Pod. Same thing, same situation, almost the same material. It's a little more structured. It's not quite, it's more dry. It's more of like a sponge than soil. But you just let that let the water continue to circulate, and those will saturate fully, and then we'll add our seeds. Okay, again, this is just like a delicate spring romaine. You could grow any kind of lettuce in here. I don't think iceberg or whatever. I guess you could start that, but this is really good for the Aerogarden, and this is what I grew last year. And it just grows a very thin, delicate romaine spring garden lettuce that you can just pick, rinse if you need to. But I would just rinse it and then serve it as a salad. So, and you can see the little seeds, very tiny. I put like 2 or 3 seeds per pod. You know, you want as much coming up as you can. So you can put 2 or 3, maybe 4 seeds per pod, and then that'll fill. This whole thing will fill, and I'll keep you up to date on it. I'll throw some shorts out, so just keep following along here. But that's essentially how you do it, and I'm going to show you. I'm not just going to sign off here. We'll show you as we drop the seeds in. There's the little holes here. Let's see. Lower this down a little bit here. Whoop, there we go. So you can see the holes. So you want to drop it. Actually, when you buy them, they come with like a little tweezer. But just, you know, drop the seeds down the hole best you can. So you, like I said, I last time I grew the romaine, I just tossed 3 or 4 seeds down there, and they all just came up. And these will germinate fairly quickly. And that's another thing too. You can see this adjust up and down. Keep it as low as possible when you initially start your seeds, and as hopefully, and they will, as your romaine starts to grow higher and higher, you get the idea. Just raise up the light as you need, and then eventually this will be all lettuce. So it's a good product. I highly recommend it if you're interested. Very simple. And the accessories, when you run out of these pods, you don't reuse these, obviously. So you're going to toss them. The only thing you're going to reuse are these plastic discs. So, again, they're in. They don't snap in, really. They just kind of pop. You'll see that they're in firm. And some of the pods are a little bigger than others. When they fill up with water, they'll still expand a bit. So, but some of them may be a little shorter. It's no worries. They're all going to be in water. But it did really well with the coleus. As you can see, that Darth Vader coleus, it germinated fairly quickly. So, and a lot of it is the grow light. So, here we are. Aerogarden. This is just your basic Aerogarden. I don't know if it's called the Aerogarden Mini. But it's a smaller footprint Aerogarden. One other thing, when you turn it on, it has a timer, a self registered timer, I guess, for lack of a better term. It'll shut off on its own and then turn back on its own, so that you can kind of set, maybe if it's in an area that maybe is close to where you sleep and the light's distracting, you can kind of set it up where you have the light go off at like 10 o'clock before you go to bed. But basically it has a timer, a timer that actually shut off itself and turn back on. I guess the more expensive models might have it where you can actually schedule it yourself. But this is basically, I think it's 12 or 15 hours on, and then 8 hours, or 10 hours off, or something along those lines. So, but it's a good product. It's a lot of fun. Okay, everybody. You can do it any way you want. I have these little espresso spoons. Ever since my son returned from Italy on his culinary externship, he's bought himself a cappuccino espresso machine, and he's drinking all the Italian wines and all that. He misses it. So okay, so again, you can put as many as you want. I mean, I put like 3 or 4. So here's 2 seeds. Just kind of, they'll drop automatically down. It's pretty easy. I mean, I don't really need to go into that much detail. This is pretty. I think you get the idea here. Hardest part is getting the seeds up on the spoon here. So we got 2. Okay, There we go. That one that's a little further down, that's a little trickier. If they land on the outside, just kind of move them, just kind of help them over, get them down. Again, I put like 4 seeds because eventually all that it's gonna grow. Whoops! So here we go. A couple of them that fell on the outside, which is no big deal. Actually, they'll grow, but it's good to let them get anchored down inside. There you go. So yeah, so just whatever you're growing, whatever seeds, whatever plant, just drop them down the center hole of that. It's plugged in. The light will go on and off on its own on the internal timer. Just check your water. It has this little access thing, so you can kind of look down there and see if the water needs to fill. It should be right at that top there. It's really, really simple. These are really simple and a lot of fun. And just wait until you see how fast these germinate things, because it's basically like it's its own little greenhouse. So Aerogarden, definitely a go-to especially if you're into vegetables, especially if you're into herbs. These are perfect for that type of growing. So I highly recommend them. Again, check in the beginning, the link in the video. It'll take you to, I'll put a number of these different varieties, the different models. And they may have changed color over the years. It might have Aerogarden Plus or Aerogarden Extend or whatever the name is. It's almost like buying a mattress, but check them out, Aerogarden. Okay, so here we are. You can see the reflection from the full spectrum LED grow light. You got your reds, blues, whites. That's the main spectrum for these type of seeds, for what they would expect a consumer to be growing. I'm not going to get into the technical stuff on the different spectrums, but it's basically full spectrum, which is all of the light spectrums that you can't see with the naked eye. You just see the bright, you see the light, but the plants take the greens, the reds, the spectrums that you don't see, and they use that for different stages of growth, and some are more beneficial than others, but I didn't want to get too far off, but I don't even really know if you could see. Okay, there you go. So there's your seeds. All right, so here's your seeds. It's not, again, not rocket science. And here we go. There's a few. I put about four or 5 or so. You see there's one on the corner on the outside there. I'm not going to worry about it. It will germinate and you just let it go. I mean, they'll basically anchor on anything, but you see that one was kind of messy. I threw them down there. So no worries here. No green thumb needed on this. Really, no green thumb needed on these. And the instructions are pretty good. So, all right, most important part I almost forgot is once you're done, you got your seeds going, everything is all set up, is running. They give you these domes. They just come with them also. And this is basically like the dome on your Jiffy Pod trays. It's just a dome to cover. They fit right over. They don't snap. They just kind of just drop over. And it's just to maintain the moisture, even though there's always water in there, it just creates that ecosystem for the seeds to germinate. So don't forget to put these on when you're done dropping your seeds. Okay, everybody, so I hope you enjoyed that. You can get yourself an Aerogarden and start growing like crazy. And we're getting ready, probably another 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe. I say 2 weeks. I'm going to start my main coleus crop for the season, which will eventually be sold at my at the farmers market that I do here in Bayhead, New Jersey, and that's usually at the end of June, July, August, and into September. So these are doing really well. These overwintered coleus. I got my rack set up, got my trays ready to go. I have an idea of what I'm going to be planting, but I don't go crazy. I have I have a lot of different varieties. And again, you can get those varieties on Jim's Coleus. Just packing, that's what I'm gonna be doing after I finish this video. I'm gonna pack up more. So go to Jim's Coleus on eBay, get some Coleus seeds, plenty of time still. You can follow along here, it's so easy. You can even use the Aerogarden if you want, and start your Coleus seeds along with me here. And these are just beautiful overwintered Coleus. This thing is a monster. I can't wait to get this thing outside into a bigger pot. It's just gonna be crazy. I should really cut a bunch of these. I may do that. I may just cut a whole bunch of these, root them, and this makes individual plants out of them. I think I'll probably do that. This is just such a monster. A beautiful, beautiful wizard rose. And you'll have these seeds here as well as these here at Jim's Coleus on eBay. So thanks for watching Jim's Coleus. I hope you get yourself an Aerogarden. If not, I hope this helped you decide to get one or not and see how simple it is. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More to come here at Jim's Coleus. Take care, everybody.